So thanks for joining us today. We're going to be talking about project management and different project management areas. There's been a lot of different failures, if you want to call them that, in the news lately where projects have started out and have gone way over budget, have not accomplished what they've been set out to do. Why is that, Frank?
Well, I mean, there's probably lots of various reasons for it, but I would one big premise I would have related to failed projects is that people aren't actually paying attention to why are we doing the project? What is it, the outcomes that we're actually looking for? They don't put that forefront in setting up and working through the project. They aren't looking at what is the value we're looking at.
So it's the preparation of the front end of the project that you're talking about?
It's preparation.
Before the project even starts?
Yeah, before the project even starts. I mean, the very focus that they're doing is they often are looking at very narrow views of what's the value of a project is.
So how does that work in a company? A project management decides they have to achieve something, then they set up a project to do that, then a project manager gets involved, and at that point, so where in that phase does the preparation actually begin?
I guess I will look at some of the project failures that we had. So the Phoenix system, Phoenix payroll system of the government, if you look at some of the background associated with it, they brought in an external contractor, consultant, to actually have them look at it, and the consultant made a recommendation that, in theory, would save the government lots of money by bringing in an off-the-shelf system, payroll system, and that would allow them to modernize what they were doing and save a lot of labor. Well, when you think about it very narrowly in terms of just saving money, without the context associated with that, and that the system actually needs to provide value to the government by paying their employees.
Yeah, the employees probably think that's pretty important.
I think they think it's pretty important. So when you lose that focus and you just think about something like, well, providing a solution that's off the shelf that can be implemented by an external company, and not thinking about the value that's associated with the outcome, you lose your focus. And if you think strictly in terms of saving money on budget, then in the end, you're actually going to be in a position where the opposite is true. So now the project is over budget, they're going to lose money. A lot of the savings that they had from laying off people, they're going to have to hire more people than they actually laid off in order to get this resolved over time. They've lost the value.
So is that because it was an off-the-shelf solution that they got sold, or is it because they didn't understand what they were really trying to get into?
I believe it's that they didn't prepare properly for the project. They didn't have it set up in order as they were working through the project to make good decisions that were aligned to the value they needed out of it. They didn't do partial releases to make sure things were working the way they were intended. They didn't have a good quality management system that actually used the actual data to make sure that things would work before they released it. And I think they rushed it into production in order to try to realize some of those cost savings without looking at what the system actually really needed to do. And they didn't have any fallback. When they put the system in and it wasn't working, there was nothing else they could do. So you need to think about what is it this really needs to give them.
Right. So the other thing they obviously were missing then was a reporting system where they could understand where they were in the project. Because as I understand it, it wasn't until they actually put it out into production that it failed.
Yeah, there is that, and I mean I will say that one of the things that happened during this is there was a change in government. The people that were responsible changed, but that's pretty normal. I mean, when you look at a project that spans years, things are going to change, and that will go back to that ability to make good decisions. If we have it set up to be able to make good decisions that are based on the outcomes and value of the project, and that's really clear, it's not. It shouldn't make a difference when people come and there are new people coming in. They should understand what the value in the project is and be able to make good decisions going forward. At least it should be easier to make those changes. I don't think it was easy. And the view was really narrow about what they were going to get. And the new government wanted to achieve all of these savings and say this big success. And guess what? That's not what happened.
So if you're a project manager sitting over here listening to us talk about this, what is the message that it provides to us of what mistakes we should avoid?
A couple of things is to be really clear about setting expectations up front, looking at what are the business drivers for what we're trying to do, what is the business value we're going to get out of the project, and what are some of the success factors and criteria that we have. If we can continue to have that visible and make good decisions associated with those factors and change them if need be as we go and learn more information, then that will be something that needs to be visible and everybody will have the same expectations. The other thing about it is we need to be working together. So if there are, if we're working with an external company like happened in the Phoenix payroll system, they need to be part of the organization. The organization needs to be part of what they're doing, and there needs to be alignment in the value that we get out of the project between us and the external company. There needs to be alignment.
That's a good point, because I mean, in the course, there's a big module on that where we actually discuss the fact that those third parties have their own culture, they've got their own priorities, they've got their own needs, both relative to our project and relative to what else is going on in their business. Yeah. And if we don't take that into account in the project and understand that and allow for it, there's going to be problems.
Yeah. The other thing that I'll mention, and this is part of the course too, is looking at what is the corporate culture, the cultural change that we're looking at, and what is the business environment change, and being able to plan that into our project as well. I think that was likely a big part of the failure, is looking at the bigger picture on what is happening in the business environment, in this particular case, the political world, what was happening, and being able to adjust to that and plan the time associated with that, as well as what is happening in the cultural, part of the outcome of this project was to be more automated and to have fewer people. We need to address those issues as part of the project in order to achieve some of the success. What are you doing with the people that are there, and that may be laid off because this work, like making sure that they still feel valued and that what they're doing is important.
Oh, that they don't feel that they're on a death march.
They don't feel like they're on a death march. Yeah, that they're actually going to increase their skill sets if they get involved in this project and being able to contribute to the success of the outcomes as well as the success of the government and ultimately their own roles and even the country.
The course that we're talking about is the Strategic Project Management course, which is a new course from Tyra. There'll be a link to it down below. It covers all of the reasons and the value that can be achieved by doing things better from a project management point of view. It then covers how you prepare and provides checklists to allow you to properly see that your project is ready to actually execute. And then it addresses how you change during execution when external factors change. So take a look at it if you have the opportunity.
Yeah, make sure you take advantage of the free modules that are available. One of them is called The Value of Time. And I highly recommend that you have a look at it and see how it pertains to the work that you're doing in your work.
And finally, if you want to have some other materials, there's also a whole bunch of articles out on the Tyra Strategies website. If you go there, there'll be articles that you can take and read on numerous topics, including all the project management topics.
Thank you.
See you there.